New recording, Dave Allen. Hi, Dave. What's your first memory of Darts World magazine?
So Darts World magazine was probably the first memory was when I joined the PDC back in 2004. So I'd been a journalist previously and done bits in darts, but when I joined the PDC, obviously one of the first things you do is you look at who the trade press are, if you like, and obviously in Darts World is the longest established and the biggest darts magazine, and I think at the time it was probably the only darts magazine as well. So it was, immediately trying to first of all get to know the magazine, get to know the publishers at the time, and see how we could assist them from the PDC side. And obviously as a monthly magazine back at that point, we tried to assist in everything that we could with the PDC, because obviously promoting darts within darts is a key thing for us.
And print magazines in general, do you think we as sports miss them, or do you miss them personally? Do you think they've still got a place?
I think they certainly still have a place. The world has obviously changed a lot, certainly in the 18 years that I've been involved in darts, and the world has changed, but I think there is still a place for print magazines. Now, obviously, I know that Darts World has changed to being less frequent than it was, and also more feature-led, because the immediacy of news now, back 18 years ago when there wasn't social media, a lot of people did get their news from magazines like Darts World. Now in life, all the news, but the magazines can help provide great, different feature content and other features that help to bring out the colour of the sport as well.
Can you any memorable covers stick in your memory?
I think probably going back to around the time when Raymond van Barneveld joined the PDC, it was obviously a huge moment in darts, and this is no slight on the current publishers, but obviously at that time they were a very BDO focused magazine. The PDC was still probably only 10 or 12 years old at that point, and probably there were other political factors in the game, but I think seeing Raymond as a PDC player on that front cover was a pretty big moment. So yeah, that was a pretty iconic one, that when he joined us at the PDC, and obviously a lot of the world champions following that as well. Subsequently seeing them with the trophy.
It's actually, if you think of from a sports point of view, it's a watershad moment, really, isn't it?
Of course it was. Yes. Yeah.
Look, now you put it like that. As I look at it, that is a watershed moment. That you're right.
It was massive. Raymond, and this was 2006, and so I'd probably been about 18 months in the PDC, and we had an inkling that it was going to happen, in the time building up to it, but until we actually got him up to Manchester, we were never 100% sure. And then it was from that moment, I think it was a real big thing in darts that Raymond, he was the flag bearer for the BDO at the time, obviously a 4-time world champion, and at that time the most successful player still playing, and for him to kind of come across as a PDC was a huge moment for us.
How many editions do you think there's been of Darts World?
Oh, wow. So,
Hi, mate. So, how many editions do you think there's been?
Oh, that's a good question. So, 50 years now, so 12 per year for about 45 of those years. Maybe 650 editions.
You're not far off. That's a good guess. Yeah, I think it's something like 642. I'm not 100%. So.
Marvellous, and we'll have a couple of hundred as well. I've got them stored somewhere in the office, in an archive box, obviously for us to refer back to if we ever need to as well. Yeah,
I know that Cal's got every single edition dating from year one. So.
And I know we've obviously occasionally when things have come up that we might need to reference back to. Yeah. I've been able to ask Callum, and he's helped out with ourselves and with Patrick Chaplin as well.
Oh yeah, on the history side. So were you aware that Darts World's actually the only body that's documented the entire modern history of darts from 1973 on the first ever team game?
I wasn't, but actually now you say that, it does make sense, and it's an incredible resource as well. That somewhere they'll in the future we'll be able to look back there, and it probably is. That.
First ever major from 1974, the Masters, and from there on,
incredible.
Although you're in the media, is there anything you think you'd like to see in the independent media that around the sport yourself?
Yeah, I think we've got quite a strong, certainly from the PDC side, there's a very strong independent media. We, obviously, for example, here today we've got the newspapers preparing for the World Championship. Obviously, the World Championship is still the biggest focus, but we are managing to grow the sport. Media itself is changing, and I think now it's gone. Certainly, the newspapers have moved away from being news-led, as in match reports and reaction, to being feature-led because of the, and again it goes back to the way that media has changed, the immediacy of news. Writing a match report about a specific, this was the result, is less of an issue now. It's more about bringing the characters to life around the sport, and that's something that we try to work with all the media with. But obviously it's an ongoing process, and changing the image of the sport has been something that we've worked very hard on in the last 2 decades, and we're continuing to do that. And we're seeing now, the face of darts is changing with a lot of younger players. The image is a lot different to how it was 15 years ago, so we're doing our best to promote that, and I think that's the one thing that we want to keep improving in the future years as well.
And that benefits all of us, no doubt.
Absolutely, because if we have the characters at the top level that engage the public, that then means that the public know who the darts players are. They're more inclined to watch the sport, and that's good for everybody, all the stakeholders involved, because ticket sales go up, viewing figures go up, dart sales go up, magazine sales go up, because there's more interest in the sport generally. So from our side, we've obviously got a big focus on trying to promote the characters of the players as people, as great, superb, top-class sports people, and rather than just people throwing darts at a board. And that's what we're trying to bring to life around them.
And you've said your memorable front cover. If you could design your own front cover by the situation it was created by, what front cover would you like to see? Wow,
I suppose, and this, in some ways, this is stretching slightly into fiction or dreamland. But
that's fine.
I think Phil Taylor, if he was walking off the stage at Alexandra Palace holding the Sid Waddell Trophy on his retirement when he played Rob Cross 2018 World Championship final, the shot from behind of Phil leaving the stage for the final time, clutching the big trophy, as a romanticist in sport, that's probably something that I'd have loved to have seen. And that image on the front cover, I think, would have been the defining moment, because of everything that Phil achieved during his career. That probably would have been the fitting send-off. Probably the contradiction in that is that, for me as the PR person for the PDC, our world champion walking off stage and retiring would have been a nightmare for the rest of the year, because our world champion wouldn't have played any events, and deservedly drifted off into the sunset. But I think for a sporting dream, that would have been a pretty iconic image that you'd struggle to beat.
It's pretty much up there with the Tom Watson in that final,
absolutely.
It's a very good.
Very rarely in sport does somebody get that fairy tale send off, had Phil done it, and it was a unbelievable performance by Rob Cross.
He deserved to be there,
but had Phil done that, I think you'd have struggled to top off what he did. 17th World Championship, and to walk off stage as that world champion, holding the trophy. Lawrence, our photographer, would have been on stage snapping him from behind as he went down those steps, and that would have been an amazing moment.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time, Dave. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.